In that short span of time, I've seen every single X-Men film there is. That includes the New Mutants, which was absolutely
Horrible.
atrocious. You didn't see the
Horrible.
New Mutants.
I do. I own it. I also have Sonic 1 and 2 behind me that will never get played. I don't know why I bought them, but I'm a
Right.
video game guy, so I had to
Right.
buy them.
Welcome to the Old Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
Good to see you, Dan.
Good to see you, man. We're back. We're going to do a review on, this is one of those episodes we almost didn't happen, but as of this recording, a few months back, we did a first look on Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, we had good things to say about it in the first look. If you go back and watch that first look that we did. So this came out July 26th, 2 hours and 8 minutes runtime, directed by Sean Levy. Of course, he has a relationship with both Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman through like Free Guy and Real Steel, which I never saw. Have you ever seen that with Hugh Jackman?
Never seen it with a robot.
Right. It's kind of multiple writing credits here. You got Ryan Reynolds, Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, Levy, Zeb Wells. So there's multiple credits there. And then the cast, just won't run down the whole cast, of course, but we can talk about it. Ryan Reynolds, of course, is Deadpool. Hugh Jackman reprising his role as Wolverine. You've got Emma Corrin, who plays Cassandra Nova. Matthew, is it McFadden? McFadden. Okay.
Yeah.
From Succession. We loved him in Succession. Right. Daphne Keane, who of course played X-23, is that right? And she was in Logan.
She was in Logan.
Jon Favreau makes an appearance as Happy Hogan. Morena Baccarin, who one of your favorites.
Yeah.
And Rob Delaney is back as Pete. Now, I'd mentioned the first look we did was just a few months ago. In that short span of time, I've seen every single X-Men film there is. That includes the New Mutants, which was absolutely
horrible,
atrocious. You didn't see the New Mutants.
I do. I own it. I'm sad.
Wow.
I have all of them. So
it's a complete.
I don't think I've watched it. I also have Sonic 1 and 2 behind me that will never get played. I don't know why I bought them, but I'm a video game guy, so I had to buy them.
Previously, we just did an episode on Furiosa.
Right. And we were
very split on that film. And what was interesting is that was, of course, by box office receipts, a complete flop, right?
Yeah.
Now, here you've got a film that is the highest grossing R-rated film of all time, I think, at this point.
Yes.
And what was the other record it's set so far? Do you recall?
It broke into the Marvel top 5.
Is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. As of this recording, it has garnered worldwide $1.2 billion. The estimated budget of about $200 million. So, it's no small chunk of change there. It opened more than Furiosa has made worldwide to date.
Correct.
$211 million opening weekend, which is just astonishing. So,
and in the first look, you literally said this is going to make buckets of money.
That's right.
And you were not wrong.
Right. I was not wrong. No.
However,
you heard it here first. I went out on a limb.
I think Furiosa set the stage for us being way apart. I think this is going to bring us back together,
like Deadpool and Wolverine in themselves.
Exactly.
Deadpool and Friend, as this was originally titled, but the original title leaked online around when they showed the first teaser, I think, during the Super Bowl. The title was going to be Deadpool and Friend, and it leaked. Really poor response from the fan base to that. So, like the next day, it became Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Now,
and for the first time, and you just watched all the X-Men films, and the one constant in every film is Wolverine.
Exactly.
Not in the yellow suit.
And I told you, I felt very accomplished having watched all those films. Now, it took 20 years for me to start that, right? X-Men came out in 2000.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing it's taken me this long. I had never seen a minute of any of those films. And it was thoroughly enjoyable to go through. And I binged them in less than a week.
Quick. Yeah.
Yeah, very quick.
And lucky you did before this film, because if you hadn't
Wait,
seen
wait, wait.
Logan,
Lucky? What are you talking about?
I said it's good that you did.
Oh, lucky that I did.
Yeah, before this
Right.
film, because there's things in it
Yeah.
that you would get lost if you didn't see certain films or shows.
Right, right. I don't think it would have ruined it, but it certainly helped, and I was glad in retrospect that I did go and binge the
Right.
franchise. Again, for what it's worth, we always say that on the podcast, but let's just look at the two, ratings that everybody refers to, which of course, first Rotten Tomatoes, 78% rating as of right now from the critics, 95% from the audience. But let me mention this, IMDb, it has a Metascore of 56, more than 20 points below Furiosa. Very
And
interesting,
I don't
right?
agree with that, but I agree with the score. The Metascore, I think, is right on.
Okay, so where do we wanna start? Do you wanna start commenting on, again, if we it's kind of a flip of Furiosa, right? A movie that I thought was good,
Mhm.
but tanked, and a movie that you think rightly tanked, versus this film where you had sort of teased over the last several weeks. I kind of knew you didn't love this film,
Yeah.
Deadpool and
Yeah.
Wolverine, and but we're talking, other than Maverick, here's another $1 billion
Mhm.
box office smash. So what
I
do you say
went
to that?
back, and after I saw this, I thought, "Okay, I'm missing something," because, throughout the film, Wade Wilson, Deadpool is constantly jabbing Disney more than we do. I kept thinking to myself after I saw it, because I heard nothing but good things. Every review was great, positive. I watched Kevin Smith, who I respect as a director and an actor and just a creator.
Mhm.
I watched a 40-minute review of his that was positive, but although it was positive in his words, his body language, his tone
Said
was like,
otherwise?
"This isn't good."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he knows everybody in
Sure.
this universe, in the
Right.
comic universe, so he's not gonna rag on it, and I thought, "Is it just me?" And I'll read one because I had to read a couple of reviews to see if somebody was on the same
Oh, you got some
wavelength.
quotes? Okay, give
I
us
just
some
have one
quotes.
quote,
And who's this
uh,
from?
LA Times.
Okay.
Must we be served gruel and pretend that it's nourishing? That's the perfect quote of this movie. Now, I know why it's doing big box office because people are going back and seeing it because there's all these Easter eggs. There's all these hidden things from the comics, from the other shows. Like, I didn't even catch the Hulk, and I guess he was in it, like for a glimpse. He was
Uh-huh.
just in it. You want me to give the setup of the movie?
Very briefly, please.
Okay. Basically, Deadpool, who's living a civilian life now, gets approached by a character, Paradox, and he's told, "Your universe will be destroyed unless you bring Wolverine into it." It turns out to save Deadpool's universe, Wolverine needs to be into it, but he brings the wrong one in. So, hence, they go on this adventure.
Right, and your little stutter step there, therein lies the problem with this film. Okay, now
One of the
the
problems.
the main issue,
Mhm.
in my opinion, is now. Let me first say though, I enjoyed all the Deadpool stuff. Like that's what I'm expecting, and that's what I want, and I got all that. I love,
Right.
there's always these very very creative special effects heavy sequences that open these films just like this one. I found that highly entertaining. It was funny, way over the top with the violence and everything. Everything again you'd expect in a Deadpool film. But right from the jump almost, here we go again. Now, it's funny, Deadpool is poking fun at this through the fourth wall, like you said, against Disney and this and that with the multiverse.
Mhm.
And here we go, right down the fucking multiverse rabbit hole again. And that's why this film suffers. Now, it's funny, here we are going to argue this when it's made, over $1 billion. But like that quote you just read, which I think is so brilliant, right? It's like,
Mhm.
well, that doesn't mean that it's a great film, right?
Correct.
And from the jump, like 2022, we're going back, right? They had no story. They didn't know what the hell the story was gonna be. They
The
couldn't
amount
figure
of
it
it
out.
the iterations this went through
Right.
is second to none,
It's
and
almost like up to the day camera started rolling.
yes,
They had no idea
it was a
until
very different film
and
at different
it
times.
seemed to me until Hugh Jackman decided to pick up the phone and make that phone call, I don't know what this would have been. I have no idea what this would have been.
And, where were the Marvel characters? Right? Spider-Man, we got 3 Spider-Men, we got every villain, way too much, too many mouths to feed. That's what was wrong with that film. This one, they brought back don't tell your friends the cameos. The cameos were stupid. Elektra, Blade, although Wesley Snipes looks great.
God love Wesley Snipes. He
Looks
looks
great.
fantastic. Shout out to Wesley
But
Snipes.
why? The
I
problem
agree. I
was
agree that the multiverse storyline, the characters they brought back that I could have cared less about.
right,
I did surprisingly find Channing Tatum's character Gambit funny. Like
but that's
it
a
was so
movie
stupid, but
right,
who
that's a movie that
cares?
never got made.
I know, and only hardcore loyalists are gonna be
Are
down
gonna
with
know
that.
that.
And the Cassandra Nova character, I'm sorry, I just didn't care. I thought it was weak, lazy,
Have
like
you seen Loki?
no, right, with
See,
the
like, that had to you had to be lost through the time
right.
travel stuff.
No, it's no, in some ways it's weird because I know Levy, I think he's quoted as saying like they made this to almost stand alone. And yeah, I think that to a degree you could still enjoy the film, but like you said, okay, now I got to know Loki, I got to read the novels, it's like Star Wars, like they keep doing that to us, right?
Right,
Unless you're in the secret club, you
right.
can't enjoy it
You
unless it's
gotta know
something
the
like
secret
Andor.
handshake.
Correct.
And there was a lot of comic stuff, and we're not we've said this many times. I
Right.
like Marvel films. And I went back and I watched all 4 of the Russo brothers films. They're all
Mhm.
great.
Right.
Thor Ragnarok is great.
Right.
And I watched all of the post Endgame films, except for maybe Eternals. I just couldn't do it. They weren't that bad as I thought originally. They weren't
Mhm.
great. They weren't good. I wouldn't have
Right.
changed my rating. But this one is definitely the 3rd best Deadpool movie.
I gotta agree with that. I think I agree with that.
And one thing, Dan, I gotta say,
Mm,
very rarely during a Marvel film do I get bored. Do I start wandering thoughts? I got bored when Wolverine and Deadpool start fighting. Now, what is their superpower? They
right.
can
They
both
regenerate.
regenerate.
Right.
So what is the point of having a fight where they're stabbing each other, breaking each other's limbs for
Well,
20 minutes?
because it allows them to
I
go to
was
that extreme.
bored.
It allows them to go to that extreme. I mean, I
Yeah,
thought
but it was
again,
ridiculous. It was
but I thought all
stupid,
that's
and it went on too long.
I thought it was funny. I like the bit in the beginning with the when he was trying to track down Wolverine.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
when you get the Henry Cavill cameo and you get all of that. The little Wolverine was pretty
Was his
funny.
daughter, right?
No, 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 the little Wolverine, the guy in the bar, and you think it's like
Oh, right,
and
right.
then he gets off the stool and he's like, really short. And then the
And
jokes like with the when the claws wouldn't come all the way out and he says, "Oh, whiskey dick of the claws," or whatever.
right.
I the humor and all the Deadpool stuff, I enjoyed all that over the top stuff you're talking about. I just thought the storyline was weak. It was really more like a greatest hits or type of thing. Like they were just trying to pander to the people that have watched Loki and know the Gambit story and all of that sort of stuff.
Right.
Meanwhile, I'm over there scratching my head, going, I don't really
Like, if
get
you
it.
hadn't seen because this was the Wolverine from Logan, I found myself bored a couple times.
I
Now,
didn't find myself bored.
I went back and looked at how many trailers. There's like 17 trailers for this.
What?
I
No.
think if you've seen the trailers,
Mhm.
you've seen the best of this movie.
I mean, they were saying this was going to be in the vein of like a 48 hours or planes, trains, and automobile. Like I see where they were trying to
Mhm.
capture that between these, and the interplay between Jackman and Reynolds is great. I mean, they make a good
Right.
pair. And one thing I really did love not being a comic person, at least not deep knowledge of it, I did think it was cool to see, first of all, Wolverine in that outfit,
Outfit, right.
right?
Famous
But
from the comics and the
but
animated
especially when
show.
he pulls down the mask, it was
Yeah,
pretty cool. It's pretty cool, and I'm sure people that are hardcore fans of that comic character love
right.
that, right? There was all kinds of, reaction to the first shots of him in the yellow getup,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know,
But I haven't heard anyone be critical of this,
and I don't know that I
and there's a
think
lot to be critical of.
I don't know if there's anybody that's gonna agree with our assessment on this one,
Maybe not. We may
but,
be I don't know. Well, look at IMDb,
but you disliked it
56,
much.
bingo.
True, right, and that's a more trusted source, but you clearly have more issues with it than I do.
Yeah, because I felt like I saw the best of it at home. You know what I mean? I felt like the best jokes they ruined,
yeah, why
and
couldn't they keep it more steeped in reality?
that's
Two
and Wolf
characters that, I mean, Wolverine gets a little out there, but,
and
it's
Hugh
kind of really a
Jackman.
grounded kind of
Yeah,
world usually that we see Deadpool in.
and I thought Hugh Jackman played it straight. I thought he was
Mhm.
really good.
He's
I thought
great.
this was a continuation of Logan,
He
which I
actually
really
had some
like.
really big dramatic pieces.
Correct, and I
Yeah,
thought they worked,
I did too.
but that wasn't why I went. I went for the laughs and for the hysterics of Deadpool, and
Yeah,
I didn't get it. I
yeah.
just didn't get it,
Well,
and
let's
I'm not gonna go back a second time to watch how they have the Fox sign buried and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah,
yeah. No,
blah.
I agree with your assessment. It's the worst of the 3.
And what it is another quote I read was something like, "This is a perfectly serviceable post-Endgame film."
What was that one description you gave of, I forget what film we were reviewing, and you said something like, "It's not horrible." Something it was something like that. It's such a
Yeah, that's
backwards
about the best
compliment.
I could
Right,
dig up.
right. It's good enough, it's one of those type of
Right,
things, but
right.
the all of the information about the production and what led up to this and all of the kind of backstory, they didn't have a story right
Right.
up until, like, lights, camera, action, it seemed like,
And and to bring
and I think
back
that shows.
a very specific sequence from Loki to the point that Ryan Reynolds literally says, "Season 2, episode 5."
Yeah, now I'm admittedly ignorant, but that has to do with that smoke character or whatever the hell that is,
That
right?
whole that area they were in, I
Right.
don't even
What
remember
was
what
with
they
the
called it.
Ant-Man reference too?
I don't know, like, there was no Marvel stuff in this. Like,
I didn't get
here,
that.
he's calling himself Marvel Jesus, yet he didn't do anything to help the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
This was supposed to be him coming into the MCU, and I
Now,
didn't get that.
you had made a statement that the money, the performance of it financially is people going back and seeing it, which interestingly enough, um, I think there was a girl that was going in front of us that probably seen it 5 times or something. So I
Mhm,
agree with that to a point, but I also think it speaks largely to the bankability, if that's a word, of
mhm.
both Reynolds and Jackman. You got
Oh,
2 of the
yeah,
biggest Hollywood A-listers there are.
and it was well
Um,
marketed.
it was well marketed,
So, no
absolutely,
shock that we both predicted
absolutely.
it on the
Yeah,
first look. You said it was gonna make buckets of money.
yeah.
I was very excited to see him come into this
But
universe.
these are 2 heavyweights plus all of the teased cameos and things. So I think that, has a lot to do with getting asses in the seats. And you're right, like that opening 200 whatever million in the opening weekend versus Furiosa that we talked about, where it tanked, but you've got Chris Hemsworth, Thor in it, but
Right,
that's about it.
right.
Who else is carrying? No one's going to see Anya Taylor Joy. They still don't really know who she is to a
Yeah,
large degree. So
yeah.
I don't know. I just had a problem with the multiverse convoluted storyline, and I didn't like. Although I think Emma Corrin did a fine job in that
Was
character. I
she
just
Charles Xavier's
right,
sister?
because yes,
Where did she come from?
I just didn't care.
Right,
I
where
just
did
didn't.
she come from?
Well, there was talk no, I lost his name. The guy that plays Xavier. I
God.
want to say Ian McKellen, but that's not
Yeah,
that's
Ian McKellen
Magneto,
plays Magneto.
right?
Charles
Picard,
Xavier. That's
Picard.
yeah, yeah, it's terrible we can't come up.
Isn't
He's
that
a
awful?
great actor,
It's absolutely terrible.
but he's not
Um,
in Deadpool.
no, but there was
But
talk
his
of
sister is.
yeah, there was talk about maybe him being in it and whatever. But Downey Jr. apparently was invited to be in it, and he turned it down. But then they think that's maybe because as we now know, he's going to play what is it,
Doctor
Doom,
Doom.
in the yeah. So I don't know. I liked it, like I enjoyed it, but I didn't. I did have some issues with that character. And just I'm done with the multiverse nonsense. Even if you're poking fun at it, it just didn't
Right.
work for me. So
I can't even say I liked it.
yeah, I
Now,
did. Like I was laughing my ass off with the opening and the In Sync song, and yeah, man, I like all that stuff.
the reason I was let down because I saw most of that.
You know what I didn't know? Just because I didn't really pay attention, maybe to all the cast names, especially here I am binging the X-Men franchise.
X-Men, yeah,
But I didn't realize that in that franchise and also in Deadpool and Wolverine, the character Sabretooth was played by
right.
Tyler Mane,
I
who
didn't
of
know
course
that.
played Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween's. But
Patrick Stewart, for God's
hey,
sakes.
Jesus.
How could we not come up with that name?
Deep apologies to Sir Patrick Stewart. He is a sir, isn't he, these days?
He is. He's
He's
a
a Sir's
brilliant
knighted,
actor
yeah.
too.
He is a great actor. I liked Favreau's cameo. I thought that was pretty funny. Like, Wade Wilson sort of
Right, he
saying, "Oh,
was
don't I meet with
interviewing.
and I'm meeting Tony Stark now." He says,
Right, right.
this it's good enough. Have a great day,
That
whatever."
was the only
It's
time
funny.
Marvel really came into this movie, was
Mhm.
through Happy, and it didn't make me
And
happy.
and I know you understand it better. I don't understand the separation between the 20th Century Fox IP characters and
Mhm.
I'm not quite astute on that. So, our audience is far more educated. I'd love to hear from them. Drop some
Well,
comments on the
we
video.
know
They're gonna
we're
like
gonna
it.
be yeah, we're gonna be disagreed with
Absolutely.
on this one.
Absolutely.
I was pretty
And that's
certain
okay.
you'd be on my side, and if you hadn't seen Logan, I think it would have been worse for you. But you
Right.
saw
Right.
basically he played it like he played Logan.
I think that's true because, yeah, through all of those films, that hands down is the best of them.
Yeah.
Even though I don't consider Logan a true X-Men film, right? It's not, it's kind of
Right.
its own thing, but um I
And
love
the
that
only
film,
2
and
are in
I
it.
really love Jackman in that film.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and if you wanna see it again, I don't know if you saw the black and they have a black and white version like they did with Fury Road.
okay. I don't think I was aware of that.
And it's not just
Listen,
black and white for the sake of being black and white. They shot
yeah,
specific sequence.
listen, you're gonna be pre-ordering the 4K, and
Well,
you'll have every iteration of this in your car.
that might be what saves this for
It's
me.
gonna be loaded with
Right.
extras, loaded
Because
with
I
extras.
wanna hear the different stories that were pitched. I wanna know the behind the scenes stuff.
But
So, yeah, this might on DVD turn me
but the
around
tru
to a
but
certain extent.
yeah, but the truth is already out there that they were scrambling for a
Right,
story right up to the last minute, so,
right.
they can't backpedal from that, that's just a
No,
fact, and
no.
I think it showed as a result. But again, I enjoyed it as a whole, overall the experience, I enjoyed it. I could have enjoyed it just fine here at home, but,
And the
I paid
Loki stuff, the
yeah.
character, the time paradox guy.
Oh, Matthew McFadden?
Yeah, McFadden.
McFadden? I keep saying it
McFadden.
wrong. Sorry, Matthew.
He's not in Loki. Owen Wilson really kinda played his part. He should have been in this film, if anybody.
Right, right,
So
right.
it just like for me, when that came on, now I've seen both seasons of Loki, but talk about getting lost and getting hung up in the multiverse.
Yeah,
That will
yeah.
give you a headache. I just didn't think it was smart to include so much of it.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think, we're not gonna get a lot of love on this one, but I
But we
still would
love the hate.
well, not that. Even people that love the film. Again, I'm not bashing the film. It's not a terrible movie by any stretch of the imagination, but I had problems with it. Simple
Yeah.
as that. So, but if you're one of the hardcore fans, drop some comments and just let us know why you love it. If you disagree with us, kind of
Without
what
getting
your
into the weeds of the comic stuff, which we fully admit to not knowing.
sure, sure. Why should we have a different opinion on it? Can you
Yeah.
convince us otherwise? I don't know that you can, but
And
um,
after watching 17 trailers and previews and
Chris Evans was funny. Chris Evans, that was kind of funny.
everyone was
But
hoping for, Captain America.
yeah, but I knew right from the jump that wasn't.
Right,
It was so obvious they were gonna
right.
not reveal it as that. But well, there you go. Anything else to say about Deadpool and Wolverine as this continues to rack up money? I mean, as of this recording, it just took the weekend box office again. But as
Yeah.
we said, what is it up against? The Crow that just completely
Yeah,
shit
in
the
fact,
bed?
The Crow outdid Furiosa in the tank job. I said Furiosa was the tank job of the summer. Turns out The Crow was.
Well, listen, for those of you that are not currently following us, make sure that you do. You can find all things Oh Brother out at the official website, which is OHB as in brother podcast.com, OHBpodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at Mike at OHB Podcast. I got the double mugs here going. And please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, help us get the channel out to more and more people. I do want to give a shout out to one of my friends, Chantel. She was actually just before we came on air. She was asking, "Hey, are you guys going to do a review on Deadpool and Wolverine?" I said, "I'm literally about to get on and talk to Mike." I said it'll be out next week, and so she said, "Okay, I'll be patient." So she's been waiting for this review for a while.
And it hasn't hit streaming yet, so, some more eyeballs are gonna be on this.
Oh yeah,
Whether or not they'll be critical of it, I don't know.
yeah. I probably will at some point go back and give it a second watch, but I've had my fill for now. So, and I'm sure you've had your fill of us for now. So that's going to do it for another episode of the Over the Podcast. Been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.